morning, everyone. I am Suyog. I'm the CEO and the co-founder at Nivea Solutions. Right. This is the picture of me early this year winning a Google Cloud Award at a global stage. Right. This is the fourth time in the year we won it. And the most important thing is the whole of the reason why the company was set up a few years back, right? To build an engineering organization in a place like Udupi, Mangalore, taking that to a global stage and getting recognized was a big thing to us. And this is a testimony to that. But I think this is what most of us celebrate today. And that's the reason why I am here today as well, to talk about my journey in terms of how I reached these milestones in the last couple of years. But I think this hasn't been an easy journey for me. This is how I used to look. This is a few years back, not too long ago, maybe 10 years back. When I actually started looking at the pictures, if I could put together something to show myself maybe 20 years back when I started my journey, I didn't find anything. And the reason being, I didn't like it. I was very low on confidence. Entrepreneurship was not even in a vocabulary I knew about. It was a hard journey for me for the last 20 years, right? Coming and building something in a region which never had a big IT organization, in the past. But I think the passion to do something, the passion to build, for the region, the passion to create opportunities in the region, what drove me for the last couple of years. And I think today, I will talk about my own journey for the last 10 years, especially on how the organization was built. I think I couldn't relate it better than, how this picture is depicted, right? Everyone looks at the butterfly, and that's what we all cherish about. But I think no one talks about the cocoon, what happens in the dark cocoon, and I think the transformation which it takes place to come out as a butterfly. It's the same thing even for me. I think being not so confident, being vulnerable for every situation, right, and building the organization is something what I would cherish about. Today, as I started my journey, 10 years back, I think it started with the only passion of doing something for the region. Right, we started off in 2009. I had my own organization, failed, and 2012 is when we formed the organization. I think it was set up in Udupi, a place not so familiar, known for setting up tech center, especially in the area of cloud. I think it took us a while, to get things started, but again failed. 1.5 years into the journey, back in 2013, I quit the organization. And I think the two main reasons, why I think I quit at that point was I didn't think I was ready for it. I didn't have the skill set. I think I also didn't have the mindset to build something, so big. And I had the responsibility of driving the growth for the organization, and I think I was not fitting into that role. In 2014, I quit Nivea's, right, and moved back to a corporate world. And with the sole purpose of building my own skill sets. 2017 is when, I was called back by my co-founder, Roshan, to come and see if I can come and lead the organization again. And I was back in US at that point, having a very, very, comfortable life and career, settled in what I was doing. But I did decide to come back. 2017 is when I quit everything. Along with my family, we moved back to Mangalore. This is right after, I moved back. We started scaling the organization. We pivoted the organization. We were close to about 30-odd people when I moved back to India. And this was just after a year when we started our first office this is probably the more established place, what I call in Udupi. It was a good moment for us, right? Having a strong partnership with Google at that point, having a strong engineering team. And we are very proud of the fact that I think we were all doing it in Udupi. A lot of people told, why Udupi? I think we were very confident about the whole place, the talent in this region. And I think that made us to stick in to a place and build the organization at that particular point of time. I think for me personally, things changed in COVID. I think this is about 1-2 years, just getting things started is when the COVID hit. I think it was not a good moment for everyone, but for people, especially in the tech industry, I think things changed for them. There were a lot of demand for transforming their every businesses, and we had an opportunity to transform OneSys business in India, which had impact on about millions of people, especially when the COVID started. For me, it was a very proud moment for me. And at the same time, I think it was a very challenging task given to us, which could impact thousands of people across the region. And we failed. I think when we launched that system at the first time, we miserably failed in that. I think building something was important. I think I collapsed. For me, it was a moment where I couldn't take the pressure. Things were put on the social media, had a tremendous pressure from our customers, and I had a panic attack, and that's when I think I collapsed at that point. And that's when I realized that I think running an organization, where you had hundreds of people where you're responsible for, I think you need beyond the skill set to drive it. And that's when I started working on myself in building the mindset which is required for you to handle such situations in the future. Because I knew that this was not the end. This is just the beginning of my journey, and I think there's a long way for it. At the end of that, we did resolve the issue and brought the systems up. But for me, this is the moment of cocoon. This is when I realized that if I'd seen this phase, I think I could take a lot more in the future. At this point, I started rigorously working on how I can handle resilience, how I can handle tougher situations in the past. And I think one of the things which I resort to was running. Running became my part of my own journey on how I use running to kind of build my own resistance, especially the mental resistance. I think anyone who has done long distance running would kind of relate to it. Few years down the lane, this is not too far ago, about 2014. This is just last year. We hit with the major issue financially. I think a lot of the other things in an organization you still can manage. But when you are responsible for 1,000 people and for their families and to ensure their salaries are put on time, I think it's a big responsibility on us. And it went to a very, very challenging phase for us. 2014, especially the March, was a time when things looked really bleak for us. We were very stretched on our financials. I think we were, very close to not paying a salary at one point. But I think by then I had built this, mental resilience to deal with such situations. And I think the only thing which was driving us was the 1,000 people and their families. If I fail, I think I would disappoint all the 1,000 people and the families who were dependent on our organization. And I think I'll walk through on how we dealt with it, because that's the biggest learning for me today in dealing with situations like this. First was accepting there is a big problem. I think it's not easy at times to accept that, and ensure that, and you come in terms that this is part of the process. You can't build a big organization without going through this. You have to go through this, you have to overcome this before you can build something good. That acceptance itself shifted my focus on overwhelming things which are happening around me to the problem in hand. That was a big, big difference in the way I handled on what happened in 2018 to what we did in 2014. The second is the belief. I think the belief that we can turn this around. I think we had a big responsibility in our hand. We had few things we have to do. But the belief that we stick to that was driving us. I think at any given point of time, we didn't give up. And this is also a problem. If anyone is running an organization, you can't talk about it. The moment people hear that you are at a financial crisis and you can't pay your salaries, there would be a big panic in the organization. So we had to keep it to a very small group. We had to work through that small group and navigate the challenges in the organization. The third one was ensuring we work on variables which I can control. When you're dealing with things, there are a lot of things which distracts you. But I think getting yourself focused on things, what you can control and what you can do, that's the most important thing. And I think we focused on that. We figured out every other possibility which could help us solve this problem. We didn't know what to take us, but we knew there are 10 variables which had to work on, and we focused on that. It's not easy to raise about $3 million in a period of 2 to 3 months, right? But we believed in that mission that we could turn this around. And the most important thing which I learned from my learning, and especially if you're running in Mangalore, every uphill has a downhill. So we knew that if you navigate through this, at one point we will get things back on track. And that's what happened. On March 31st, at 6 p.m. in the evening, and that's the day our salaries go out, the money was credited. I think we couldn't thank the team and the support we could for the various organizations from where we raised the capital, but that's how close we were to solve this problem. A single day here and there would change the fate of our organization at that particular point of time. And that's what we did in 2014. I think we navigated that. 3 months later, we got an offer to be acquired by one of the biggest organizations in Japan. And today, we were acquired by that, and we run global operations from Udupi and Mangalore. This is our team, and we are 1,000+ people today. And I think we strongly believe that we will continue doing the work what we have done so far in creating employment in this region. And that's why the company was formed a few years back. I think we are very passionate about that. We believe that the talent was always there in the region. You had to create an opportunity. Before I close my session, this is what I would want to leave everyone with. I think when you are in a situation like this, it's not always a punishment. It's a place where you strengthen your wings. Use that opportunity to kind of build your resilience. Go through it. Stay through that. Because on the day you come out, you'll be much stronger. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.